Hi, it's Katrina! From tiny little sharks you've never seen before to ones with gigantic mouths, here are 10 of the rarest sharks on Earth. Number 10. The Bahamas Sawshark. The Bahamas Sawshark is part of a few select sharks that are named after human tools. You can probably think of one other one too, the Hammerhead Shark. But the Bahamas Sawshark is much rarer and arguably has many more unusual characteristics. Its massively flat and long nose is very much like a saw because it has tons of sharp spikes on it. It uses the serrated snout to actually dig into the ground to find its prey, and then shred them up with the spikes. So how does it find its prey? Well, it's not based on sight because the Bahamas Sawshark actually lives between 400 to 1,000 feet below sea level, which means there isn't much light for them to use. Instead, if you look on their snouts, you'll see two whisker-like things attached to them and coming down. These are their barbels, and they use them to detect movement and light on the ground. And once something is detected, their snouts go to work. In terms of size, the Bahamas Sawshark is only about 5 feet long, and given its depth, you'll likely never have to worry about running into one on vacation. Plus, they are totally harmless, unless you're a shrimp. Nothing is known about its population numbers or eating habits, but it is assumed that they eat small crustaceans and fish like other saw sharks. One more thing, in the known world, there's only one other fish that resembles the saw shark. It's called the sawfish. They're very similar in body type, but the sawfish doesn't have barbels. Number 9. The Frilled Shark. After being discovered about 11 years ago, the frilled shark has astounded both scientists and the rest of us common folk because of its rather interesting appearance. As some scientists have noted, the frilled shark looks like a creature you would find in a National History Museum, yet it's very much alive in the modern world, which has led people to calling it a living fossil or a prehistoric shark, both of which could be accurate depending on how you look at it. The frilled shark does not have many of the standard features a shark is known for. Mainly, it doesn't have a large dorsal fin, though it does have plenty of fins on the side and the bottom of its body. Its skin also looks very rugged and worn, which also adds to its living fossil nickname. Some have even likened the appearance of the frilled shark to an eel because of its length and the way it moves. At maximum length, the frilled shark can reach over 7 feet, and because of its special jaw, which is both long and flexible, it's capable of eating octopus and even other sharks. Typically, the frilled shark lives at around 5,000 feet below sea level, but in Japan, you might be able to see one at only 600 feet or less. Those sharks better be careful over there. Number 8. The Indonesian Speckled Carpetshark. Right off the bat, the Indonesian Speckled Carpetshark is very different from other sharks. It doesn't swim in the ocean, but actually walks along the ocean floor. It does this with its pectoral fins, which it uses to push off the ground in order to achieve movement. Another distinct characteristic of the Indonesian Speckled Carpetshark is that it's not that big of a shark. It only grows to about 18 inches long. Because it's so small, it is in constant danger of being attacked by predators. To protect itself during the day, it'll find places to hide like a crack in the ocean floor or in a nearby coral reef to ensure it doesn't get swallowed up by foes. Then, once night comes and it feels safe, it'll come out and go get food like vulnerable crustaceans. A relative of the bamboo shark family, the Indonesian speckled carpet shark is most notable for its spotted appearance, hence the speckled part of its name, but also for the fact that it only lives in the waters off of Indonesia. More specifically, it's only found in the West Papua Islands. Number 7. The Sharpnose Sevengill Shark. The Sharpnose Sevengill Shark gets its name from its obvious physical features. The shark has 7 gill slits on each side, and its head is shaped in such a way that its nose is very pointed. Pretty specific name, right? You knew exactly what I was talking about. Also known as the one-finned shark, this shark inhabits virtually every sea and ocean in the world. However, it's found over 3,000 feet under the ocean surface, with its average depth about 1,000 to 2,000 feet. So while it may be everywhere, if you're not at the right depth, you'll never see it. Plus, they usually don't get bigger than 4 feet long. Despite this, it lives up to its sharky nature, using its very nimble body to swim through the ocean and grab its prey. It likes to feed on fish, but it can also eat squid and crustaceans. Fun fact, the Sharpnose Sevengill Shark is one of 47 species of shark that can be found in the Mediterranean Sea. Number 6. The Megamouth Shark. When it comes to rarity, the Megamouth Shark might just be one of the rarest sharks ever found, as it was only discovered in 1976. Since then, it's only been caught on film a mere 3 times. There are only 3 types of sharks in the world that are known as filter feeders, meaning that they eat plankton and other small creatures. The Megamouth Shark is one of those 3. Here's a question for you. Can you name the other 2 kinds of plankton-eating sharks in the world? Put your answer in the comments below. The answer is coming up. Be sure to subscribe if you are new here and click the bell to join the notification squad. We'd love to have you! Instead of hunting down prey and devouring them, the Megamouth Shark just leaves its mouth open and sucks in plankton and other unlucky creatures that don't see it. Then once it catches the plankton, it filters out what it needs and moves on. Doesn't sound like a typical shark, does it? Oh, and as for the mouth itself, it's over 4 feet wide, which gives it a much-needed edge to catch the food it needs. The Megamouth Shark only has about 90 teeth, and they're very small. This shark can get up to 16 feet in length and weigh around 1,700 pounds. Fun fact, it is the sole member of its own genus, Megachasma. Less than 100 of these sharks have ever been seen, mainly because they usually reside at about 3,000 feet below sea level. Number 5. Birdbeak Dogfish Shark. The Birdbeak Dogfish Shark has an odd name to go along with its very curious appearance. Its name was given to it because of its snout, which looks like a bird's beak in many people's eyes. I'm not so sure. What do you guys think? Coming in at 4 feet in length, the Birdbeak Dogfish Shark has several features that make it different from other sharks, besides its confusing name. The snout is one, of course, but it also doesn't have key fins that other sharks have, such as the anal fin. Furthermore, its teeth are actually pretty compressed in its mouth, which makes them perfect for cutting. This shark has been found in numerous places all over the world, from South Africa to the Mediterranean Sea, but its range in the water is just as varied, as they've been seen anywhere from 200 feet to 4,700 feet below sea level. That's pretty deep. Number 4. The Speartooth Shark. Sharks are usually associated with saltwater, but the Speartooth Shark is one of only 6 shark species in the world that are capable of going into freshwater places. Found mostly in Australia and New Guinea, surprise, surprise, these sharks have been documented to actually go into rivers to get food. These guys were only discovered in 1982. They can grow up to 10 feet in length, and its large teeth make it very easy for it to catch its prey. Furthermore, they've adapted to be able to find food even in the murkiest of waters. An interesting feature of this Speartooth Shark is that its second dorsal fin is actually quite large in comparison to its other dorsal fin. Even though scientists have tried to study these sharks, until recently none of them had been captured at full maturity. It was only just a couple of years ago that they were able to tag 2 adults. So while 10 feet is what they feel the shark could reach during its peak, it's potentially capable of getting larger. They look very much like bull sharks except for their teeth. They weren't named spear sharks for nothing. They're really long and slender, and they've got almost like a spear tip on the point. Obviously, when you're dealing with a live shark, it's probably best for you to stay away from its mouth. Number 3. The angular Roughshark. Here's another example of a shark that doesn't match up to its name in terms of size. The angular Roughsharks are tiny sharks compared to their companions, only measuring in at about 3 feet in length, if not smaller. What's more, their bodies are actually a bit more compact, thus giving them a rather distinct look. They look very triangular, and even more so with their 2 dorsal fins. Also, unlike most sharks, the angular Roughshark is happy to just glide along the bottoms of the oceans or seas that it inhabits looking for food. It's not overly aggressive, which is why it seeks prey like shellfish and worms, aka creatures that don't put up much of a struggle. Despite their very reserved nature, they are on the endangered species list, and in the northeastern Atlantic, they're practically gone due to overfishing. They are often caught as bycatch, and fishermen see them as bad luck and often toss them back to sea, but sometimes it's too late. Number 2. The Pyjama Shark. The Pyjama Shark, also known as the striped cat shark, is yet another shark that has a unique body type. It's very loose, and its head is much flatter than most sharks. They aren't too big, as they only grow up to a little over 3 feet in length, but they are pretty cunning predators. Off the coast of South Africa, where they live, they'll actually hide in reefs and wait for the perfect prey to come around, and then they'll strike. Arguably, what makes it the most unique is its defense mechanism. When it feels threatened, the Pyjama Shark will actually roll itself up into a ball. That way they can hide and protect their head, and hope that their predators think that they're just another formation in the ocean, like a rock. Interestingly enough, the biggest predator of the Pyjama Shark are other sharks and humans. Number 1. The Pocket Shark. When it comes to rareness, the pocket shark might just be the rarest shark in the world today. I say this because only 2 have been found in history, and the second was found by accident. During an expedition in Louisiana, several creatures were captured and put in a freezer in a laboratory. One of these was a pocket shark, but they didn't know that at the time. When they realized what they had, they immediately went to work to learn more about it. The pocket shark lives up to its name, as the only 2 caught were 5.5 and 18 inches long. But what's even more interesting is that these 2 were found in very different places. One was found off the waters of Peru, which have a very low temperature, while the other was found in the Gulf of Mexico, which has a much higher temperature. This suggests that this is a type of shark that travels around and/or is comfortable in all kinds of temperatures. As for how they eat, it's believed they don't eat the fish whole, but they take a bite out of fish and then settle for that. Not much else is known about these little guys, but compared to other sharks, this one would definitely fit in your pocket. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten those of you who guessed the answer to my question earlier. In case you forgot already, I asked, what are the 3 sharks that eat plankton in the world? I gave you one answer, the Megamouth Shark. The other 2 are the whale shark and the basking shark. Thanks for watching! Have you seen any of these sharks before? Hoped you learned something new today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone!